Hello there. This is Sherry Simpson coming to you from Langford, British Columbia, and I am going to do a reading for myself that will give you an idea of what my readings look like. So what I have done already is I have I have done a couple things already. I have opened up my own Akashic Record. So I do that the way that I was taught. I call in my guides, my teachers, and my angels, and my loved ones. And then I open up the Akashic Record and I start asking questions about what needs to be cleared today. And what came up for me today was something called an imprint. And an imprint is like a stamp. So we're actually stamped by things that were traumatic at some point in time, whether they were past life or present life. And the body is very kind, the ego is very kind and wants to make sure that we are capable. And these have come up a couple of times recently, so it must be something that we're healing as we are going through that year of the 11 in 2018, because they've come up quite a few times with some clients. So interesting that it came up for myself. So an imprint is something like a stamp. So if a traumatic experience happened, and this is a past life experience for me that was associated with my root chakra, and I'm storing I'm storing the issue, which was connected to a sexual experiences in past life as well as abandonment, and it's being stored in the root chakra in my emotional body. So you've heard me talk about the physical body being what we live in, the mental body being the thoughts and beliefs we have, the emotional body being the feelings that we have, and then spiritual body being our spiritual connection to source and to our inner self, and that like bubble that surrounds us. So this was a particular imprint, and with an imprint, it's like a stamp where where things in life and current life will actually trigger a response. So we'll actually have a situation come up that will trigger a response, and to make sure that we're still capable of handling whatever that traumatic experience was. So basically, this traumatic experience will continue to play out over and over again if it's triggered, just to make sure that we can handle it when it is triggered. So it's like checking your fire extinguisher or your smoke detector to make sure it still works. So it's like the body's way of making sure that we can still protect ourselves. But it actually brings up the traumatic experience again, so you experience the same emotions and the same stress, and then you see if you can handle it. So for some reason, I have this going on at the root chakra and the emotional body, which for me is not necessarily, it's for so the root chakra is connected to everything I need to survive. So this is enough money, a roof over my head, clothes to wear, all of those things are like the survival mode. So in a sense, me driving across the country with everything that with only everything that I own in the car is basically triggering survival mode for me. And so I've cleared this, and it was connected to the sacral chakra in the mental body in present life. So there was an imprint in past life, and the sacral chakra in the present life was connected to success, and anger and aggression were connected for me. So there was a weird triangle between physical relationships that were sexual, as well as abandonment, as well as success. So a weird triangle with the root chakra and the sacral chakra. And for some reason, being successful was connected to anger and aggression. So I was fearing success. People have been telling me for years that I fear success, and I didn't get why. So this kind of makes sense, that fearing success for me is connected to anger and aggression. So why would I want to be even more successful? Because that's going to trigger anger and aggression in others and also within myself, which is something I don't want. So I have not allowed myself to be more creative. So your sacral chakra is about building things. It's about creativity. It's about nurturing and growth. So building babies as well as building businesses, building legacies, building creativity, building things that are more abundant than what you need to survive. So very interesting connection there. So I haven't necessarily cleared this out of the record yet, but I have released the sexual experiences, the abandonment from past life, as well as the connection from sex and aggression. And I've replaced these things through the dimensions and aspects of time and my levels and layers of consciousness with love and compassion, love, connection, safety, and community, and abundance, love, and prosperity. So now I have all of those new emotions that are replacing what the imprint was repeating for me. Another thing that came up after that came up was a curse. I know that I've been killed quite a few times for being a witch in my past, multiple times, and I'm not going to go into how, but I can. There's at least 5 that I sort of know of. And so I have this fear of not being able to make any money with my divine gifts and talents and my psychic abilities. So I can make some, and then I'm like, no, I might get killed for this. And so that I've released through this curse that I released. And there was also this vow of sacrifice. And this vow of sacrifice was actually through father side generational DNA about it not being safe to have more than my own piece of the pie. So to only have just enough, to only be able to just get by. So this vow of sacrifice was like limiting me whenever I was trying to do things or be a certain way or bring in more clients than I need. So I cleared both of those things that were connected. Because the vow of sacrifice is definitely connected to the gifts that I want to use in this lifetime, and I don't want to be killed for being successful. So those things were tied together. So I cleared those things. So now what I'm going to do is, and I've replaced those things with it being safe for me to expand abundance and success. So abundance and success are now equivalent, and it's safe for me to have more abundance and more success and more prosperity. And it's safe for me to be creative in those ways. So I've infused my Akashic record with that as I released the curse and the vow. So I did that at the beginning before I even started pulling cards. So now I'm using a card layout that is called the bear paws. And the bear paws is when I keep looking at what I'm drawing on my notes. So that's why I'm looking over here instead of at you. So what I drew on my notes is the very first card I'm going to pull, and I'm going to do that now, is about present life and why am I playing it small. So is there any other information that comes up that is not related to what I've just released about why I'm playing it small? So I'm going to call on, and I'm going to use my pendulum just to make sure, because sometimes I'm called to use different decks. So I'm going to use John Holland's deck. So that was a yes from my pendulum to use John Holland's deck. And this is the Psychic Tarot for the Heart card deck. And I am going to use it to pull a card that represents in the present why I'm playing small. This one wants to come out. Okay. So the Spread Your Wings card came out. So I get the point. I get the point of the card as being it is now safe. Number 2 is the second chakra, and so it's now safe for me to spread my wings. So I get the sense that me playing small was about safety, and that it was about me not knowing. So there's a lot of purple in this card, which is that third eye, which is that inner knowingness, which is that using your own gifts, which is channeling information from source and from my past lives. So I get the sense that it's safe for me to use all of those past life experiences that I gained the knowledge and strength and skills and talents from when I was a witch, even though I know I was killed many times. That it's now safe for me to spread my wings. So I felt like my wings were clipped and I was this little tiny bird for a long time. And now it's safe for me So I was playing small because I felt like it wasn't safe, and I was this little tiny bird, and being a little tiny bird and looking out at how big and massive the planet is, and not trusting my guidance, and not trusting my source, and not trusting that I have the confidence and the self-love, the pink and the yellow there. And so I get now that it's safe. And this is interesting because she's standing here in a very cool shirt, by the way. Um, she's standing here with her arms up like this. And recently I read about a visualization or meditation where you can actually imagine the light from source coming right into your hands. And so I have tended to been an overgiver and not a receiver. So she is definitely open on both sides, as though the light is coming in her and it's safe for her to give and receive. So it's safe for me to take up more space. That is certainly another thing that I've had to learn about playing small, is that physically I'm not a very big person, and I'll literally try not to take up space when I go into a room or when I go into places, and I'll just like try to keep myself small. And so I've been giving myself permission recently to take up more space. Just because the fellow beside me on a plane or a ferry might be 6'5" and I only need this much space doesn't mean that I can't take up more space, because we're all equals. So I've been getting into that mentality that it's safe for me to take up the space that is equal to anyone else, regardless of size, regardless of status, regardless of shape. So I understand that moving more into the creativity and capacity and ability and connecting more in with my own self is where I definitely want to be with that card. And I know that I'm done playing it safe and playing it small, and that this bird is now going to fly, which is actually very interesting because I have been seeing eagles like crazy since I've been to BC, and that's about soaring above. It's about connecting to spirit. It's about seeing things in a broader way. It's about spreading your wings. So this is definitely a wonderful message for me to start with. So the next thing I'm going to pull is about where my mental focus is. And so I'm going to pull the card. I'm going to ask for clarification. Do I need any clarification? No, on the present card. Can I pull the second card from this deck? Yes. Okay. And I get the message actually quicker than the pendulum, and I don't really need to use the pendulum, but I just like it as a confirmation. So I still use it as sort of a safety net, but it just brings me to confirmation, and then it just makes it easier for me to not second guess myself. And part of that is that I second guess myself when I'm reading for myself. I second guess myself way less when I'm reading for other people. It's a weird thing to read for yourself. And so I'm trying to be more open to that. And so mental focus, where my mental focus is now, is the next card that I'm pulling from John Holland's deck. So I'm checking with my body as I do this. I'm feeling a little bit of tension in here, more so on my left side, like I'm opening up to using my feminine spiritual receiving side even more. The interesting thing is that I'm looking for mental focus at the moment, and I'm actually feeling it like in my forehead and around my third eye. So where is my mental focus now? I'm feeling a little tension through the sinuses, so that that third eye and the throat area are definitely connected. Where is my mental focus now? So this part, when I'm doing readings for clients, I will often do this card pulling thing separate so that the client doesn't have to wait and wait in a video to see me shuffling. That's the one I wanted. For this, I wanted you to see what kind of process I'm going through, so I combine them into one video. So my mental process is about simply loving in reverse. So this makes me think that I'm not coming completely from a place of love yet, that mentally I'm actually thinking things rather than allowing myself to feel things, which is totally true. Because my seventh is the chakra that I lead with, I tend to be in my head, and I'm continually telling myself, it's safe to open your heart, it's safe to open your heart, it's safe to open your heart. And I'm continually doing things for my chest, like I would be telling massage clients if I was still doing that, about opening your heart and about opening your heart on both sides. You're not just doing this on the giving side, it's on the receiving side too. So allowing myself to simply love. So mentally, I'm playing the mental game a little bit too much, and I'm not allowing myself to simply love. This is a 6 card. And the interesting thing about that is that the 6 comes after the 5, and the 5 is all about transformation. So mentally, I'm in a place where I still feel like I'm transforming things a little bit, and I feel like I'm not quite to that 6, but I'm very close. And when I get to that 6, it will be easier to simply love. This card often is, and it's interesting that it came in upside down. This card is often, it often comes up, I see it come up about fathers passing things on to their sons, or the father's generation passing things on to the next generation. And it was interesting that I had that sense of sacral chakra success tied to I don't need more, that I cleared earlier, that had to do with it not being safe, or a vow of sacrifice. And so I get the sense that I can actually, with this being upside down, I can actually infuse and clear that into the past, and I can infuse and clear that through my own DNA. And so I have done that, and I'm going to do it again right now, just mentally, to allow that to shift, to simply send love and compassion and nurturing and safety through the ancestral generation. And because I'm holding this in my left hand, I'm getting the sense that I can send it down through my mother's and my father's generations, where I'm allowing a sense of love, a sense of compassion, a sense of nourishment, a sense of safety, and a sense of abundance, and it being safe to be abundant and safe to make more and safe to be more through those generations. I'm imagining it being pulled so that it's safe to be abundant, it's safe to be more, it's safe to be creative, it's safe to share creativity. And I'm thinking about that swirling through my DNA, and thinking about sending that through all of my chakras, and thinking about feeling that coming into my hands and being sent out through my hands. And I'm actually seeing it as though this yellow and green ball is being tossed back and forth between my giving and receiving. So part of me believes that the clients that are coming into me are also having an issue with, is it safe for me to be more and make more? And I'm going to tell those clients, or anyone who's watching this, that yes, it is. And so we're just going to bat that safety ball and that level of confidence, because that yellow is about solar plexus and personal power. And the 6 is about the third eye. So we're definitely going to allow that to merge into the self. Because this came in upside down, it makes me think not only passing it through past generations, but actually passing it through myself through childhood. So if there's anything through my past childhood in this lifetime where I was not feeling safe to spread my wings, that I'm allowing myself to send simply love to myself through my childhood, and allow that to resonate and permeate, so it's safe for me to spread my wings, it's safe for me to speak my truth, it's safe for me to share my gifts, it's safe for me to take up more space on the planet, to be bigger, to stop being so small and take up more space. So I'm infusing that now, I'm infusing that in, I'm feeling that around, I'm feeling it around like age 5, and then again at like grade 4. So I'm infusing that safety in a couple of times. Age 12 is coming in again, so I'm infusing that again in at age 12. And 18, it's coming in again, so I'm infusing that. It's safe for me to take up space. It's safe for me to feel love. It's safe for me to expand. It's safe for me to heal. It's safe for me to feel nourishment, to be nourished, and to spread my wings. Whew. And I just felt like a shimmer almost of light sort of moved through me, almost like now I'm all tingly down through my knees and down um, through my feet. And what I'm doing is thinking about placing a drain at my tailbone and allowing any emotions that are no longer serving me, that are connected, to now float down through that drain, down through a cord attached at my tailbone to the center of the earth, and the earth is going to allow that energy and emotion that I'm releasing and giving to it to be converted to simply love. Awesome. So that feels complete. So now I'm going to step into the emotional card. So what are my emotions telling me right now? And I believe I'm going to use John Holland's deck again. This is one of my favorite decks. I'm not surprised that I'm staying with this for now. So this is, how am I emotionally feeling about spreading my wings at this point, and about being bigger, about standing my ground in a bigger way, about being stronger, about being more flexible. This card's come up quite a few times, no matter how many times I shuffle this deck. So this makes me think that I am done feeling hopeless and helpless. So for me, the mental place, and the emotional place are quite connected for me. And for most people, that's the same. When this is upright as a number 8, and my life path is a number 8, so my life path is about empowerment, about personal power, about abundance, about creating abundance in all ways, about creating abundance in health, in wealth, in relationships, in community, in all things that I want to create. So when I see this card and helpless and hopeless, it looks like this this figure here doesn't know which way to travel. Because it came in upside down, I get the sense that, and it came in for emotions, I get the sense that it doesn't matter how I express my emotions. When I was younger, I used to always express my emotions with words, and I'm getting with written words. Like I couldn't actually speak it, but I did have a thyroid condition, an autoimmune disorder that I overcame. And so now it's way easier for me to speak emotions, and it's way easier for me to hear emotions as well. So I get the sense that regardless of how emotions are expressed and experienced, that the path is going to be the same. So it was safe for me when I was younger to write things out, and now it's still safe for me to speak them or to write them. I get the sense that it doesn't matter. I also get the sense that emotionally I'm supposed to write more, so blog more, create more ebooks. I think I'm actually supposed to write a book and maybe do like a TED Talk or something like that. So I get the sense that I almost used to feel that I was like hopeless in not being able to express myself and not feeling understood, and helpless in how I was trying to spread my wings. And I get the sense that I'm over with that my help and my hope actually come from inside of me, not from outside of me. And this is something that I've seen quite a bit, where people actually think that their power is outside of them rather than being inside. So many massage clients would come to me and they'd be like, well, I've been to this doctor and that doctor and this naturopath and this chiropractor, and no one can fix me. But basically, this is about going within, and no matter who you go to, and for myself, it's no matter how I am dealing with things on emotional levels, whether it's dealing with it through writing, whether it's dealing with it through speaking, or both, or not dealing with it. that the end result is the same. So eventually I'm going to get to that place of the 8 life path, regardless of how I get there, regardless of how I write, regardless of how I speak, regardless of which path I'm taking. And so this almost makes me think that emotionally I could take this like totally rugged, horrible, icky path if I want to, but I don't need to. I can take any path I choose. I can actually co-create the path that I want to take. I just need to step into that place of personal power, that place of confidence. Releasing some of these imprints and the things that I've released will actually help the hair on my arms is standing up. So that was an aha for me about making the decision to co-create myself and releasing any sense like I'm done with it. Like I'm done with it. It's upside down. It's over. I'm done with feeling hopeless and hopeless. And I'm at that point now where I am emotionally and mentally ready to spread my wings. And so stepping into that place where I'm allowing myself to do it. Any clarification needed? Do I need an archangel? Yes, that's what I thought. So I'm going to step in and call my archangel deck in. This is Doreen Virtue's Archangel Oracle cards. And I'm going to see if there's a particular archangel that is going to come forward that I can call. Teaching and learning. So one of my things about spreading my wings and about creating abundance in this life, one of the things I've always said is my perfect job would be to take courses and to go to conferences and to go to retreats and get paid for it, to get paid to do all the learning, and then to teach my people, my community, my tribe what I learned. So to get paid to go and to get paid to teach, to get paid to learn, to get paid to teach. So this is very interesting, but this is coming up with it's okay to spread my wings and to go into that creative, co-creative place with creativity and with close relationships and with that second chakra of birthing more abundance, about allowing myself to mentally simply love, to release that transformation and move into that 6th place when I'm ready, and to release that sense of it has to be done a certain way, like maybe I have to do it through one way, or maybe it's hopeless if I do it through blogging, or it's hopeless if I do it through video, and just allowing myself to create it the way I want to co-create it and release that sense of being helpless or being hopeless. And so now I'm getting the message that I can call in Archangel Zadkiel, keep an open mind and learn new ideas, then teach these ideas to others. Because this is absolutely what I'm called to do. If I were to show you my strengths test results, they are all about teaching and learning and intellecting and relating to other people what I've taught and what I've learned and what I've related and intellected about those things. So I have a tendency to learn things and then to tie my own ideas and concepts in, and then to relate it to things that other people can understand, and that's how I teach it. So this is very cool. So I can call in Archangel Zadkiel when I'm mentally and emotionally not in that place, or not knowing how to spread my, the hair on my arms is standing up again, of not knowing when to spread my wings, or how to spread them bigger and further, or how to expand my own teaching and my own learning capacities and abilities and opportunities. Because I would definitely, angels, are you hearing me here? I would definitely like to call in Abraham Hicks cruises and conferences. I would like to call in teaching my people, so coming with me on an Abraham cruise where we do coaching on the cruise, as well as being in that law of attraction and Abraham Hicks space of manifestation and co-creation. And so calling in more opportunities for for traveling, for teaching, for growing, for learning. And so Archangel Zadkiel's going to help me with that, and I am greatly appreciative. So the next thing is about direction from Spirit. So can I call in another card for direction from Spirit? Is that coming in from John Holland? Yeah, that's what I thought. So did you see how big that was? That actually came in as a really big yes. Like, yes, Spirit is ready to give you some information, girlfriend. So pull those cards. Sometimes information will just come into me in a sense of my body. So my body is actually feeling a little bit cold at the moment, which makes me think that I'm actually releasing more from the past, because usually things that are healed from the past make you feel kind of cold and chilly, like they're old. And releasing things from the future or the present life make me feel really hot and really like warm and kind of sticky and sweaty. And so there's usually a difference. So right now I'm feeling like there were some blocks in my knees because they're actually feeling like they're warming up, like they've been cold. And so do my feet. So a sensation about a fear in moving forward, a sensation of, ooh, is it safe for me to spread my wings? And so let's see what Spirit is going to bring forward for my guidance in that area about the hows, because usually we know what we want, or we can focus on what it is that we're willing and able and wanting to co-create with our source. But the how is usually interesting. The how is usually source's job. If we meddle with the logics of the how, then we're not in alignment with our source. So this is interesting. So look at source is giving me an upside down 2 with my right side 2. So it's telling me that my sacral chakra may not be as active as it could be. So more orange. So I was telling people in a different series of videos about the chakras, which is on my YouTube channel now. It's also in the Create Freedom Your Way Facebook group, where you can actually eat fruit or vegetables or colored foods related. You can, in order to expand that particular chakra. So this chakra is the second chakra. This is the area of the womb, or the sexual organs, the pelvis area within the body. And so this is about birthing. It's about creativity. It's about allowing yourself more abundance than what you need just to survive. And so this is telling me that I'm not necessarily letting in right now more abundance than I need to survive. And it's time to activate that second chakra even more, which I have been working on. So this is great. This is source telling me that I'm in the right ballpark. I just looked down at the other one being a 2, which is very interesting as well. I'll show you that one in a second. So this is about me being in the right ballpark, but not doing this enough. So one other thing that I could do is wear orange underwear, wear orange pants, wear orange clothing in order to activate that chakra. I'm actually seeing myself eating more oranges, so maybe I'll pick up some citrus fruit when I go to the store. This is also connecting in for me with stones that are that color, with essential oils that are that color. The oil of abundance is the citrus oil. And the interesting thing about this is that the next card that came in is an 11, and so we're in the 11 universal year. And so this detach coming in reverse is actually making me think that I need to attach, not detach. So for me, I've had a tendency for the last couple of years to go inside, to be more contemplative, to detach from old patterns. And so so this is a woman who is releasing a dove into the past. So detaching from the old and allowing some of that, yeah, my knees are cold again, allowing some of that past stuff through the old ancestry, through my old karmic patterns, through the vows of sacrifice. We're sending a dove back there. We're sending love back there. We're sending abundance back there. We're sending compassion back there. And we're detaching from any of those things from the past. And I get the sense that that once that detachment is complete, and I get the sense that it will happen quickly after I clear my Akashic record after this. So this is so interesting because a reading came up the other day because we're in the month of February, which is a 2. We just had the 11th day the other day, which is a 2, which is sacral chakra, and we're in the 11th year, which is technically a 2. And the message with the triple 2 that I read for a past client that I'm bringing forward for myself, which again happens a lot, is about miracle manifestations. So magically, miraculously being able to manifest and co-create with my own source and with my own I almost want to say witchy energy, with my own energy of my whole like pelvic region, of that whole birthing area, allowing growth and allowing abundance and allowing co-creation to happen from that spot, from that area where I am birthing things that are greater, bigger. Orange makes me think more fun. Like a lot of times I tend to be more serious, and I have been more serious as I've been detaching and releasing things. And so I get the sense that I'm finished detaching, and now it's time for me to attach. It's actually time for me to attach to what it is I want to co-create and move into that place of abundance and forward movement. Is that all the information that I need from Spirit? Can I call in the next card? Yes. So calling in this is my yes sign, and this is quite a big sign. It's been bigger. It's been so big that sometimes it wants to chop off my arm. But the next card I'm going to call in is about my inner wisdom. So it's more about my third eye. It's more about what I'm channeling from my inner highest self, rather than the direction that Spirit wants me to go. So this is me. This is my own talents, my own gifts, my own inner wisdom, my own things that I can channel. So I'm not doing anything to make this even bigger, but it's saying, yeah, pull the card, pull the card. So can I pull this from John Holland's Psychic Tarot? Yeah. So this is about myself. This is about me. This is about the Sherry within me that wants to share what it is about playing small, about how I stop that. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Some of these cards are so interesting because the same ones have been coming up over and over again in many readings, which makes me think it is definitely something that we're healing because we're going within this year, in this number 11 year. We're focusing, going through those pillars of we've done a lot on the outside world and the acting and the doing, and now we're going in and connecting to our inner guidance and our inner selves and our inner abundance and our inner knowing of co-creating with ourselves and with our source. So the card that came up was shine. And basically this is telling me that I am not shining the way that I need to be shining, and when I'm capable and ready to spread my wings even further, that shine is going to turn around and it's going to be awesome. So the cool thing about this coming in upside down is that the 9 shows up first, and so ending that lack of shine is what I'm getting from the 9 and the 1. And the 1 is telling me that this new moon that's coming in, this new beginning that's coming in, I'll be ready. Like it's almost like focusing on 2018 as the place to start that co-creation and expansion afresh and anew, and releasing the detach and being ready to attach. So attaching bigger and more strongly to a community that is my own, and birthing, so attaching more and allowing myself to shine when that sacral chakra is even more expanded. Yeah, I'm getting the sense that that's going to happen quickly. And when it happens quickly, it's literally going to be as though I'm being lifted up. So what's going on recently, like soon, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and on the 15th, 14th into the 15th, we have the solar eclipse, new moon solar eclipse happening. And we've been in eclipse season since January 31st. And so that 2-week window is when we had the super full moon eclipse. And now we have a new moon solar eclipse. Yes, a new moon solar eclipse. And the new moon is usually about new beginnings. Excuse me, that was me digesting that information. And that was an energy shift. It was actually a light one, thank goodness. Sometimes they're very jerky. So this is about me being able to shine in a bigger way, me being able to spread my wings, me being able to connect into my emotions in a different way. I almost said oceans, which is very interesting because I'm very much a water sign. I have actually 5 planets. I have Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, all in Scorpio. One of them, I think Mars is in my 5th house, and no, 4th house, and the rest are in my 5th house. So I'm very watery, and my which is very interesting because Orion, where I came from, is a water planet. Was a water planet. It doesn't exist anymore. And my rising sign, which is how I present myself to the planet, is Cancer. So I present myself to the planet as though I am small, as though I am not capable of spreading my wings, as though I'm hiding in a shell. But the feisty Scorpio within me is like, shine your darn wings, girlfriend. I don't want to upset the dog, so I'm going to scream that a little bit louder. But it's definitely time for me to shine. It's time for me to attach to a greater community. It's time for me to step into passion and purpose. And so this is saying, like, I'm not yet shining, but it's time. And so I'm getting that message that that new creation and new things are going to be happening in this this new moon is going to be a big one, which happens in like a day and a half or so. So I'll keep you posted on that because I just saw the Netherlands the other day. Different places have been coming up for me about whether I'm supposed to be in Canada and where home is. And Greece comes up often for me. And Portugal. Spain and Portugal both come up a lot for me about places that I'm meant to be or places that I'm meant to travel. So I don't necessarily know if I'm supposed to stay in Canada, which may be why it's taken me so long since I drove across the country to find home. And so maybe home is in Canada. And so that's very interesting, but we'll see where the new beginnings and the new shining takes me. I get the sense I could use some clarification on that. Can I get some clarification on that? Numerology card? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get some clarity from my inner self about where I should be, about where this new beginning. Oh, that makes all the hair on my arm stand up. Like there's some truth about that. There's some truth about. Do I need those cards? Can I shuffle within them, or do I need them all? I need them all. All right, so a whole whack just came out, and let's just see what we got. So, domestic harmony, that is definitely something I know that I'm calling in. I'm ready to call in a life partner. So I get the sense that when I step into spreading my wings and allowing myself to shine, and when I allow myself to attach versus detach, and when I actually allow myself to connect into that place where you connect to a partner, that domestic harmony will come to me. And when you add the 4 and the 6 together, this is interesting because the 4 is about a masculine grounded balance sort of number, and 6 is about nurturing and harmony. It's more of a female number, but when you add those together, it's 10, so it's a 1. It's about new beginnings. So domestic harmony will come to me. Spiritual partnership, it makes me think that this actually makes me think that I have been in my head and connected to spirit more than I've allowed myself to be grounded. So when I call in this new beginning, when I call in domestic harmony, that I will actually have a spiritual partnership with a partner, but this will actually allow my higher self and my ego self to actually create a different kind of spiritual partnership that I haven't experienced before within myself or with another. And I totally believe that we can't experience the same kind of love or the same kind of partnership or the same kind of relationship with another person unless we're experiencing it with ourselves first, because we learn from within and then we exude without. So I get the sense that this is coming, but not yet. And so that is guidance as well. I have not been listening to as much music as I usually do, and I get the sense that that is important for me. I like to sing to the radio, even though I don't necessarily like the sound of my voice. And so because this adds to a 5, it makes me think that there's transformation in that, but there's also a sense of chakra 3 and chakra 2. If you look at the orange, it has to do with creativity. Oh, which is interesting. I wonder if the things that I co-create will actually be expressed not in music, but my creativity will be enhanced by listening to more music, and that will give me more confidence and personal power to create. Interesting. I have been spending a lot of time in nature, and nature really balances me. So I find that I need that as a grounding, but I get the sense that I can find nature in other ways. So it doesn't necessarily matter where I am. Oh, that's interesting too. That nature connects to my heart and to my third eye if I allow it. And this sort of gives me the message that I have not been allowing it as much as I could, that I could actually allow a deeper connection with my third eye when I am in nature. And if I look at the numbers, 7 and 4 add up to 11, which is that going within. But if we look at these individually, the 4 is about that masculine sense of balance and stability, and the 7 is about connecting into that crown chakra. The 7 is where I lead from, but the 7 is also about, for me, if I look at the number, it's about taking that guidance and that stuff of source and manifesting it quickly into the physical. And so this is telling me that I'm not connecting nature and intuition the way that I could, and that I will shine more when I am ready to call in a domestic partner, when I am aligning my spiritual self with my ego self, when I'm allowing music to guide me through that place of creativity and self-empowerment, and when I'm allowing nature and my intuition to connect in a way that I haven't been. So that's very interesting for me to get all of that from those cards. And so you're getting a sense of how I read things by how I'm reading for myself. I read things based on what the cards are telling me and based on what I know and based on sort of what guidance I'm getting. And the hair's all standing up on my arms right now, so I'm getting the sense that yes, this is all truthful. This is how my guides and teachers and angels and loved ones are bringing the messages in, because they know that I'll understand the messages that are coming in based on the cards and the colors and the shapes and the animals that are on the cards and the way that the people are facing, and whether the light is coming in from above or whether her hands are up. All of those are messages that my guides know that I will read. And so that's how I read for other people as well. So my next card, am I ready for my next card? Yeah, I am. I got a truth sign there. My next card is about an outcome. So I'm looking for an outcome about spreading my wings, releasing my sense of playing small, and I'm pulling an outcome card. Yeah, we're ready for the outcome card. I'm pulling that from the John Holland deck. All right. So pulling the last card here. Well, it might be the last card. So I'm looking for the outcome of the situation. See how fast sometimes they just fall out? So the outcome of the situation, clarity of belief moving forward. So basically, it is having this sense of knowing, and this card has come up quite a few times recently as well. It's funny how they seem to be just flowing in. I love this card because he's got his hand of receiving love over his heart, as though he is allowing himself to create this cycle of receiving between his own hand and his own heart, his own hand and his own heart. And for me, I have a tendency to want to give more. And this is telling me that, yes, it's safe for me to give, as long as I'm also giving to myself and I'm connecting in with self-love. So it almost looks like this swirl is a heart, which I love. So heart into the future. The one is about new beginnings. The one ties in this new moon. The one ties in this whole sense of yes, new beginnings are happening as you spread your wings and as you call in more teaching and learning, as I sink into that sacral chakra even more, as I attach rather than detach to myself and to the world at large in a bigger way. Like I'm finally ready to go out and connect with community and to go out and connect with other people in a different way, because I'm ready to spread my wings. And so this clarity of belief is about me finally trusting that I'm doing the right thing. For a long time, when I started my business over the last 2.5 years, I was really wishy-washy. Like, what do my clients need? What am I supposed to be giving them? What skills and talents do I have? What do I want to share? And so this clarity of belief is me standing in my place of power saying, I have psychic gifts. I'm going to use them. Nobody's going to strike me down dead. You know, they're not chasing witches and psychics in this life. I am safe to actually do this. I am safe to create abundance. I am safe to be successful in this realm, and believing that I'm safe to do so, and that I can do so from a place of self-love, from a place of receiving, and from a place of giving. And this sense of sending the butterfly forward and sending the heart and the transformation, because butterflies are about transforming. So this is a huge transformation for me. I'm getting the hair on my arm standing up because I'm telling myself that it's safe for me to build a future doing what I'm doing. It's safe for me to call in more clients who are seeing my work right now and know that they are finally called to get a reading like this, or to work with me as a coach, or to work with me with one thing that I love working with people with is to be able to do something like this, like a reading that is transformational and aha in the big picture, and then to do email support as I'm doing Akashic Record clearing and miniature card readings with people through email coaching and email support over a couple of months after a card reading like this. So for me to know that that's, because I was just talking about that this morning with a couple of people, and I get the sense that this is what I'm meant to do, and it's safe for me to do it. And the more clear I get in this, the more heart-centered and the more giving and the more transforming this will be. The more impact I can provide by doing this, which is awesome. So this is telling me that there is still a piece of me that does not believe that I will succeed. And I get the sense both the sixes came in upside down. So it makes me think that I'm still going through a little bit of transformation in the number 5, which comes before the 6. So I'm not quite at the 6. I'm almost at the 6. And I get the sense that it's about me being confident, spreading my wings and taking up more space, and me sharing more of my gifts and doing more things for people, and allowing myself to receive for that. So allowing myself to receive the abundance and to receive the success that comes with me sharing my gifts, that it's safe for me to do so, that it's safe for me to ask for money, that it's safe for me to ask for more health, that it's safe for me to ask for more nurturing relationships, that it's safe for me to be abundant in all ways and to bring that in. And that as soon as I step into that place of even more expanding my wings, that these 6s will actually turn around, and that the simply love will be like encompassing me even more than I've allowed it now, and that believing in that success. Yeah, I feel like even hair on my arm standing up. Even more confidently, even more loudly. And I love that this card is like major in pink, because that's more about self-love. It's more about nurturing self. It's more about doing things within me, connecting to what is my highest self, which is doing all of this fun psychic stuff, which is teaching people how to use a pendulum so that they're getting the answers that are more in alignment with their highest self, that are taking free will of other people out of the equation, so that um, they're getting more truthful and honest and wise answers from their highest self. And this is about me speaking up more, speaking my truth. Look at that blue. That blue is like infused with the divine light that's coming down. So when you look at it this way, it's about someone that's moving through a canoe, through calm waters, going into source, going into self-love, going into that ability to speak truth in a grander way. And so me having the confidence to send this into my future is going to bring that success to me in a more expansive. And how my arms are standing up again, which means truth again. So I'm still going through a little bit of transformation, which is okay for me, but knowing that it's all coming, knowing that the abundance is there, knowing that the teaching and learning is definitely a piece of what I'm meant to do, and I'm meant to do it on a bigger, broader, more expansive level. And I know this, and I just wasn't trusting myself. So doing a reading like this, even though I'm showing you while I'm doing it, is even more clarifying for me. So thank you, Archangel Zadkiel, for coming and helping me open my mind. And this is opening my mind to new ideas. So a lot of times I love to share blogs and emails and audio and video recordings, but I'm not necessarily getting those recordings from my inner self. And so being more open to experiences from my past, experiences from my childhood, experiences from my past life coming forward, almost like I'm channeling them. Because it's way easier to write a blog and an email and to inspire people on a video when I'm actually channeling information. And I leave myself open to do that from my guides and teachers and angels and loved ones, because when I try to plan too much and get into my head, things just don't come out right. Things don't feel like they flow. So I adore the ability to just get on a live video and just spit it all out. And I trust that the information that's meant to come through will come through. But this makes me think being even more clear, sending even more clarity into the future, sending even more transformation, sending even more throat chakra. If you look at both of these, there's so much self-love and so much of that blue throat chakra color, so much more healing. And this actually makes me think that those of you who are not feeling self-love, and those of you who have issues with your thyroid or your throat or your sinuses or your jaw, are actually meant to see me for medical intuitive readings, because this is something that you're meant to heal as well. So usually our clients, when we're working with things like this, are people that we've already been. So I've healed an autoimmune condition of the throat. I've learned to speak my truth more verbally rather than to just write it down. I've learned to be more trusting, more expressive, more self-kind, more self-loving, more balanced with my giving and receiving, more balanced with my feminine and masculine side, more balanced with my spiritual and ego side. And so if you are not doing that, then the outcome may be calling in more clients. So if you're watching this and you're like, well, she's probably talking to me, then message me and we'll chat, because perhaps you need your own reading. So this was a lot of fun. I'm going to see if my guides have any more information for me at the moment. No, that was pretty clear. So thank you, guides. Thank you, teachers. Thank you, angels. After this, I will clear my record. Yeah, that's definitely a don't forget to clear your record. So that's something that I would do for clients. I would actually go through and finish the video, and then I would go through a specific sequence in the Akashic Record to clear it. And then I would send a video and an audio to those of you who are my future clients, because I know you're watching. That's why we do these videos, because it's the messages that you're meant to hear, and it's the special, it's the special heart connection and tribe, and I don't know, that sense of compassion that you need, that sense of confidence that you need, that you're worth it, that you're worth taking the time and spending the money and putting yourself first and making your own self-love and your own words important. Yes. So some of the readings that I do look like this. They look like the paw print. Some of them look like the house that I have built for some clients about, you know, do you want to sell a house? Do you want to buy a house? Some actually look like a body that I create with arms and legs and chakras, and calling in information about the nervous system, and calling in information about, you know, what messages are coming through from your muscles and from your ligaments and from your fibromyalgia and from your arthritis and from your shingles and all of those things. So I get messages based on things coming in from the body. And one of the messages that's coming in loud and clear right now is stop calling them yours. That is one thing that I had to learn at the beginning when I was healing the thyroid condition that I once had. I was associating it with me. I was labeling myself as having Graves' disease. My sister and some of like my friends were like, your Graves, your thyroid condition, your autoimmune disorder. And eventually I was like, no, it is not mine. I am no longer associating with it. It is disconnected from me. And so that's one thing that you want to do, is learn to disconnect yourself from this thing, the same way that I disconnected earlier, abandonment to success. I was thinking that success and abandonment was connected, and I was thinking that success and anger was connected. That I would be abandoned if I was successful, and that I would make myself and other people angry if I was successful. So literally you disconnect those things. I mean, you can call on Archangel Michael to do that, because he cuts cords. And so disconnecting those things and then replacing that connection with something else. So now reconnecting success to abundance, love, and prosperity. Connecting the love and connection and safety and community to success, so that those are actually being fused through the energy body into the cells, into the DNA, down through the ancestral generations of mother's and father's side, past generations, through dimensions of time, through past lives, through all levels and layers of consciousness, so that we're exuding what it is we want to exude, being what we want to be. Because that's really what transformation is about. It's becoming a new you, allowing yourself to become the you, to create with source what it is you want to create the legacy that you're meant, that passion and that purpose and that drive that you're meant to create and share. You, authentically, whatever that is. It's time. And I'm saying that not just for myself, but also for you and for my spreading of the wings. So may this sharing of my own reading have helped you in some way, shape, or form. I feel honored to be able to share this with you. And I would be honored if you would share it with other people who also need to hear the same message. Yes. Namaste. Thank you so much for your time. Have a beautiful day.